Oh, hello there. You caught me filling up my beverage. Yeah, good. What's going with the light time? Man, I wish the iPhone would settle and not constantly readjust. Because I do that and then my face is all flared out. I could do that the whole time, then my face looks like, it's annoying. Oh well. Can't have everything, I suppose. Where would you put it? Hey Caleb, how's it going? And hello Celtic King. Oh god, I suppose I should have... I was wondering what to title this live stream. Of course we're up to page 3 of the freaky letter from Freaky Freak Boy video dude. So I'll probably read that tonight. Hi Peter, how's it going? Yes, we'll see if he makes me genuinely angry again or if he's just a laughing stock. Even when he was making me angry, he's a bit of a laughing stock. But yes, there are certain things that, oh, now I've got a very bad connection. I hope that doesn't last, but it's always difficult to be sure. We didn't have any problems last time because I think in retrospect, I wasn't using my Wi-Fi. I was using data. That ought to fuck up my data allowance for the month, but you know. Hoorah, Australian internets. Well, it's the warning's gone away again. Like, oh, now it's come back again. Good evening, Adele. So we may or may not have connectivity problems. If it gets too bad, I will do a quick check of my Wi-Fi that may or may not help, but sometimes it just settles down. Gamer Freak, why is it not working for you? Hi today. You maybe need to refresh because I'm having trouble with my connectivity. Yeah, lanky. It's basically if I'm in a decent reception area, my 4G on my phone has better bandwidth than my Wi-Fi does. And I have cable Wi-Fi. It's supposed to be really fast, but the upload's not that good. But I think it's all working fine now. Hopefully it will settle down and we won't have any more connectivity problems. Wow, see, look at this. Along with the weird religious stuff I've been sent, this is a little space where Mrs. Angry works sometimes, so it's got some of her work stuff here. She's a psychologist, counsellor, therapist, what have you. There is a little bit of news from Celtic King. VD can still watch my videos, just can't comment. So hopefully he learns when he's crossed a line. Because there are certain types of offensive bigotry that I won't even joke about. Glad you got it working, Gamer Freak. That's all good. So you always have fun stuff to read here. Besides, like I said, all the religious stuff I've been sent, Mrs. Angry's therapy stuff. This one fascinates me. This is a therapy called EMDR, and maybe this textbook tells me, I've forgotten what it stands for. I remember EFT, which is this tapping thing called emotional freedom techniques. See if this tells us what EMDR stands for, because I've forgotten. Book for therapists, yes, okay. No, it's not. Not just a quick. No acknowledgements. Part 1. Here we go. This, and the name is quite descriptive. The acronym EMDR stands for Eye Movement Desensitizing. Sorry, try that again. EMDR stands for Eye Movement Desensitization and Reprocessing. And it's absolutely amazing. As it says here, recommended by the World Health Organization for the treatment of PTSD in adults and children. EMDR is this freaking amazing psychology counseling technique. I can't do it justice by describing it, but it's basically when you're recounting a traumatic episode, the counsellor does something. Sometimes it's just moving fingers and you follow that while you doing the talking through. Sometimes it's sound, sometimes it's touch, and it is absolutely amazing. Like, on the surface, when you see it done, it doesn't make sense, but it's actually getting your brain to reprocess traumatic memories, and it's incredibly effective on severe PTSD. It's also effective on much less severe trauma or just bad memories. It doesn't make you forget things, but it takes away the really crippling power that some trauma has, and you don't feel like you're reliving it all the time. You don't forget it, but you don't feel like you're reliving it all the time. It's an absolutely amazing thing. It's like so non-intrusive, and like, it's weird. I mean, I always joke because Mrs. Angry has done some of this stuff on me, and it works. I mean, I don't have any PTSD. It was just literally like a bad memory. Like, is there a thing in your life when you think of it, you go like, ugh, that's awful, and you think of that and you go through this process and it stops having this power over you. It's really amazing. Like I said, for me it was more bad memories than any trauma, but yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I did see the comment there about MDMA helping with not just PTSD, other psychological disorders. There are some studies, and not just MDMA, but like LSD, hallucinogens. There is increasing evidence that there is strong therapeutic value in various illicit drugs, basically getting your brain to work differently. Because when it comes down to it, that's how you treat trauma, that's how you treat bad memories. You've got to get your brain to work differently. You've got to get your brain to think about things and remember things differently. And it's there's no one cure-all for everyone. Various medications are very helpful in a lot of cases. There are some cases where typical medications don't help and can actually be counterproductive, but many cases they work. And there are some cases where some form of counselling or therapies like EMDR or EFT, they can help and you don't need any drugs. But yeah, there's no one cure for everyone. Tonight's topic, what a question that is, Toby. Well, we still have more of the letter. We've only read 2 pages and it's 3.5 pages long. So I think we probably should get on to page 3. Space Boy, hello, how are you? I did a silent burp. There was more garlic in my dinner than I realised, I think. Hi, Safa. So you're lucky this isn't smell-o-vision, because I just sort of burp. Oh, Peter, you caught up on the letter. Yes, VD is a messed up dude. And yes, as I was just saying, and I've said this before, Mrs. Angry, who's a psychologist, read the letter and said he's not faking it. That's some real severe mental disorder going on there. So, yay, I got letters from someone who has issues. And yeah, you hardly need professional analysis when you hear or even see it. You just go like, yeah, no, something's going on there. That's some not quite right there. So he's pretty special. Have we covered Malcolm? Oh God, Richie, it's just, again, for those who don't know, whether you're not in Australia or you're in Australia and you haven't seen, But today's big thing was Malcolm Turnbull being a complete fucking tool. And again, still no vote in Parliament on marriage equality. He's got this fantastic idea, though. There's going to be a postal plebiscite that costs some ridiculous cost attached to it, and it's not even binding. And it's just like, and you can already tell the ultra conservatives in the government are saying no would definitely mean no in our book, and you could never say yes, but yes only means maybe. And I'm like, well, fuck you. And yeah, you're right, Adele. But you're right, Adele. Basic rights being just denied. I mean, it is, you know, hey, let's have a vote on whether a whole section of the population count as humans and have basic rights. Like, okay. It's like, are we not embarrassed yet? Oh, we're having the bad connection sign coming up again. So hopefully that doesn't last too long. It passed quickly last time, so maybe it'll pass quickly this time too, if we're lucky. Yes, if on your end it does the stuttering thing, that you just do it. The laggy thing, you know, refresh is necessary. Hi, Luke. But yes, the other Malcolm in the news, Malcolm Turnbull was being a jerk and giving some shocking sound bites in a press. I'm a strong leader. Stuff that will just be used against him in the next election. But Malcolm Roberts is a complete arsehole in a party of complete arseholes. Pauline Hanson's One Nation, the Let's Appeal to Morons and Racists party. Malcolm Roberts is on the moron side, science-denying, paranoid idiot. And he is in a little bit of bother. It's not necessarily a big bit of bother, but a little bit of bother, because there's a rule in Australian politics: you can't serve in the parliament if you have dual citizenship. You have to be a citizen solely of Australia. And a bunch of senators have been picked off by that. And he might be, because one thing that's interesting is he's directly lied and said he was never a British citizen, and he was. That's now been established beyond any doubt whatsoever. He was a British citizen, and he filed a bunch of paperwork before the election that he might not have done properly, and he might not have done in time, and his election may be ruled invalid. In fact, the Greens are planning to move a motion tomorrow to have his election referred to the High Court to see if he does have the right to sit in the Senate. And that would be humorous, because even if it ultimately goes in his favour, discomforting him for a while would be good, because he's a fucking jerk. And anything that makes his life less easy is a good thing, as far as I am concerned. Larissa Waters is running again. Is she the Green who had to resign? Yeah, you're right, Luke. Roberts getting shit canned would be hilarious. Although when I explored this before, apparently if that happens, we're more likely than not to end up with Pauline Hanson's sister as his ultimate replacement. So that's something to look forward to. Ha! Sorry, Celtic King said VD's sent me 3 more letters since Friday. Well, they haven't arrived yet. I haven't had any notifications of mail. 3 more letters. God, are they all as crazy as the one and as long as the one he sent? I suppose in preparation for more deranged mail, I should most definitely finish his one tonight. I don't know whether I should check my Wi-Fi, because it keeps going, Oh, Space Goy, you're new to this part of the world. Well, you can always watch it back, Tendai. VD was a guy who had a username Video Dude who I blocked because he was a boring git and wouldn't shut the fuck up with this religious shit. And the stuff he was saying was so fucking stupid. I couldn't tell if he was a really quite deranged, detached from reality Christian, or he's just an asshole thinking he's funny, trolling people. Either way, I told him to shut up and he wouldn't, so I blocked him because he was just being boring and annoying. And he sent me a letter, and what a letter it is. It's written in this really tiny font, if we go right in there, and it goes for 3.5 pages. I have so far only read the first 2 pages on live streams, and I haven't cheated. I don't know how it ends. I've got 1.5 pages to go, and I don't know how it ends. So when we warm up a bit, I will get into that letter again, because it's something special, something very, very special. I talked to AngryAussie recently. I told him I'd be sharing this with him, and I said that to get the general gist of it, you only need to know 2 things. Oh, Joe, I am going to post it on my blog, don't worry. There are 2 things you need to know. The first sentence is, you blocking me from your channel is offensive to the human species. So that level of self-aggrandizement. And the second bit, to get the vibe of how unbalanced the whole thing is, after a whole Christian-y, ranty thing about Yahweh and yada yada, you think, oh, he's being super religious, actually blaming me from holding AngryAussie back from Yahweh. You're holding him back from knowing God. You fucking are, you cunt. Celtic King, you're right. They may not be as long, but I don't think he's capable of writing anything less crazy. I think that's just who he is. So, yes, we've got that to share. I'll just have a little refreshing beverage. Yeah. The combination of rampant narcissism coupled with not being able to keep a train of thought and not being able to manage consistency is particularly special. Hey, Aussie Brick Chick. Yeah. So, yeah, that whole mix of devout, reaching a higher plane, Christian, and being a verbally violent, obnoxious git. Oh, good, he's working on a 10-page letter. That is really something to look forward to, Celtic. Okay, if this stutters out, just refresh once or twice. Hi, Viola, because I'm getting the bad internet thing again, and I'm just going to double check what I'm connected to. So it might stop for a minute, but you just refresh, and I'll be back. I'll keep it. Okay, live, and I'm hoping that's a better connection. I hope we didn't lose too many people. I'm just going to keep talking because there's usually a bit of lag with people catching up. Oh yeah, it dropped down to 6. Okay, there we go. Australian internets, Peter. That is exactly... Hey, Stephen, how's it going? Okay. That's what happened to Space Koi. I got taken down by Russians. But I changed what Wi-Fi I'm connecting on, and hopefully it is going to be more stable now. Okay, so I think back to working. Yay! I'm gonna give this a minute or 2, and then I'm going to get to the big show, namely the letter. Oh, Aussie Brookchick, just been chatting, just been talking back and forth, laughing about Australian politics. The 2 Malcolms Turnbull and Roberts and what jokes they both are. So, you know, been keeping it light. And I'm building up to the letter. So we will see how we go with that. Yeah, and from the sounds of it, from what Celtic King's been telling me, I have to finish this because I'm going to get more letters from VD. Honestly, if he just keeps going on and on, I'm probably going to stop reading them because I think they'll just get repetitive and boring after a while. Yeah, Jay, would you might like Roberts better if he was drowning in his own urine? I can't think of any way I'd like him. Like, he's so toxic, I don't think he'd even work as fertilizer. So, hey, Megaleech, how's it going, buddy? Some people I think like they might be awful, but you could at least put them through a wood chipper and spread them over a garden, and they'd help the garden grow. Malcolm Roberts, I think, is so toxic that would be like salting the earth. I don't think anything would ever grow again. Ooh, Toby, you're going to get me a Book of Mormon. Okay. That will be interesting. I don't know if I'm failing because, you know, I have this weird recovery version of the New Testament, and the Jehovah's Witnesses Bible, their version of it. I don't know how different it is, and it's got like a whole bunch of study guides. I just love this, the intro, the easy reader intro. This is actually pretty good in the Jehovah's Witness Bible. Question 1, who is God? He's just this guy, you know? He's out there and he does stuff. So, you know, hang and be cool. Oh God, P, you want to find Dianetics. I used to have the Dianetics book, but I don't anymore. How can you learn about God? Take lots of LSD. Well, that's fairly forward thinking from the Jehovah's Witnesses. Who wrote the Bible? Moses wrote down all the words of Jehovah. Daniel saw it in the dream. Wow, that makes no sense at all. Oh, okay, big question. Is the Bible scientifically accurate? Quote, he stretches out the northern sky over empty space, suspending the earth upon nothing. Okay, or, quote, all the streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is not full. To the place from which the streams flow, there they return to flow again. My God, okay, I made a joke about taking LSD to know God, but that line there, that is a stoner line. All the streams flow into the sea, but the sea's not full. Wow, this is weird. Jesus Christ. You know how you get all these Christians or atheists saying it's not that they're racist that makes them hate Muslims, it's just their religion's so violent. This literally says, what is the Bible's message? Okay, the first quote, I will put enmity between you and the woman and between your offspring and her offspring. He will crush your head and you will strike him in the heel. Fuck me. That's the first meaning of the Bible is fucking fuck people up. Well, that's nice. What does the Bible foretell about our day? Nothing. Don't be an idiot. Is God to blame for human suffering? Well, duh. Why do humans suffer? Because fuck you, that's why. What does the Bible promise for the future? Nothing. Stop being an idiot. What happens when someone dies? They feed the worms. What can we hope for? What hope can we have for the dead? Nothing. They're dead. What does the Bible say about work? Work sucks. How can you manage your assets? Take them down to the casino. Take them down to... How can you find happiness? Wow, this is surreal. Again, another stoner quote. I'm going to read the real quote to you for this. How can you find happiness? Quote, better is a dish of vegetables where there is love than a fattened bull where there is hatred. Whoa, dude. You just imagine Bill and Ted going, whoa. How can you cope with anxiety? This is interesting. The fuck? Who of you being anxious can add 1 cubit to his lifespan? What person with anxiety is going, oh, I'm really glad how this is extending my life? No one with anxiety ever thought, well, on the bright side, all this anxiety will make me live a long time. You won't live a long time, it will just seem that way. How can the Bible help your family? See, the wife should have deep respect for her husband. You wives, be in subjection to your husbands as it becomes Lord. See, women, seeing children, be obedient to parents. That's all good. Oh, no dad jokes. Apparently, okay, this is a new revelation to me. From this, it's saying dad jokes are a sin. It says, Father, do not be irritating to your children. Dad jokes are a sin. That's sad news. Wow. Well, I'm really upset now. I never realised dad jokes were a sin. Well, just one more reason I'm going straight to hell. Oof. Well, that was a bummer. Okay. Yeah, it'd piss me off if someone in my family voted LNP, although I'm sure some people in my family did. Yep, dad jokes are going to send us all to hell. Yeah, Space Guy, if I don't want to go to hell, I'm going to have to stop with dad jokes. Hey, but how about we stop and read some more of the letter? So this will be a bit disjointed because they're jumping straight in. He's just been ranting about how I have to follow the one true God and save myself. And he continues. You cannot deny that this is the true denomination of the true religion. If you do, you are being fucking stupid. I would genuinely like to hear your reasons for denying that as evidence. So tell me your reasons and I will refute them in the ongoing debate over the truth of religion and the truthfulness of this religion of the true God, Yahweh. We're back to him just being sad now. It's just super, super sad that in his religion he talks about evidence. And he's talking about Mormonism here. He's talking about that being evidence. With someone like that, it's just sort of deep breath and it's like, I am not wasting any time on you because that is... See, when someone starts talking about faith and their beliefs, when I'm like, cool. That's a part of your life. That makes you feel good in your life. I'm okay with that. But someone saying something as absurd as this is proof, this is evidence, and this is not just any religion, this is the Ralph Wiggum of Christianity, Mormonism. It's just like, mental health is not good. Okay, so, Yahweh doesn't care that Aidsy has Asperger's syndrome. Well, that's sweet. He will punish Aidsy for his sin like everyone else. Not quite as sweet. No one is spared from the justice and punishment of Yahweh. God is merciful. He will not punish people for things they do not understand, but Aidsy does have the ability to understand that homosexuality goes against the laws of nature and Yahweh. So he will be punished with eternal suffering and torture by the great punisher, Lucifer, not to be confused with Satan the opposer. Lucifer was asked in the great council of Yahweh if he would be willing to go to hell and hand out punishment for the sins people have committed. Lucifer will take great pleasure in your and Aidsy pain if you do not repent. He doesn't want to have to do it, but if you end up there on the righteous judgment of Yahweh, then he will enjoy it and will show no mercy, making you suffer for all eternity. That is what will happen. I can tell you that as a fact. As a fact, he doesn't want to, but he will enjoy it. That sounds like some people justifying masturbation, quite honestly. Anyway, now we're getting a bit of an explanation of that. Satan and Lucifer are two different beings. Satan was an angel that rebelled against Yahweh and his plan to make Yeshua the Saviour. This is because Satan wanted to be worshipped now, rather than waiting a lifetime and earning the right to become a god, and therefore earn the right to be worshipped. Lucifer, on the other hand, was and still is loyal to Yahweh. Lucifer, as far as it's been revealed to me by Yahweh and Yeshua, never wanted to become a god, but wanted to serve Yahweh for eternity. So what? Yahweh gave Lucifer hell to rule over, so he could serve Yahweh forever and still have the chance of being a god one day in the future if he ever changed his mind. Like Yeshua, Lucifer remained loyal and faithful to the one true God of this galaxy, Yahweh. I'm sure I'm not the only one who gets perturbed when his talk goes off into becoming a god and that Yahweh is the God of this galaxy. Bringing in science fiction-y elements to the religion just makes it worse. Doesn't make it better, makes it worse. So, if you follow and faithfully serve Yahweh according to the restored gospel, you will have the opportunity to rule over your own galaxy. You can either fill every planet with your creations, or you can fill only one planet full of people. It will be all up to you. Your standards will be rule of law. You will only have to be obedient to a certain few laws like do not cause unneeded harm, do not deceive your creations into hell, and be fair. If you follow those, plus a few more, you'll be taught in the Book of the Galaxies, which you will receive in the Celestial Kingdom, assuming you make it there. Then you will be allowed to govern your own planets and form your own galaxy. You will have to give your creations the opportunity to run their own planets as well. I know this may sound crazy to you as a non-believer, but it is true. Isn't that awesome? The ability to control your own planet and to be a god? See, that's where I worry. That whole be a god control planet is like, oh my god. That's weird, unbalanced wish fulfillment stuff. Oh, Joe Will, I think anyone in any branch of Christianity, apart from the one that he's cribbing from, would think this is all insane. It makes no sense. It doesn't conform to any major branch of Christianity. It is loopy. Anyway, so you can receive personal revelation from Yahweh if you follow him and study his scriptures, particularly the Book of Mormon and the New Testament. You can communicate with Yahweh, Yeshua, Moroni, Nephi, Lehi, and all the other faithful men and women from the Bible and Book of Mormon. Isn't that awesome? Personal visitations in your sleep through dreams and angelic visitations from them. It is rare because it's only extremely important things that will cause a personal visitation from angels, but dream visitations are relatively common for the faithful men and women of Yahweh. That's because Yahweh wants to improve you and allow you to do the best that you can. But the most common version of communicating from the spirit realm is through feelings. Yahweh will make you feel things in order to allow you to make the best choices. For example, if you shouldn't get a particular sandwich one day because it might be contaminated with poison, he will give you an impression that you shouldn't take it, and maybe even bring the concerns up to an employee of the establishment so they can have a look at it. Someone might want to do you harm, so Yahweh will make you go another way home or take another bus. That is also evidence of Yahweh's immeasurable love for his creations and evidence that he is real. Give it a try, and do not stop until you have come to a firm conclusion that it is all real. Well, I, for one, am really pleased VD has lapsed into just being sad and pitiable, because I'm not angry. I'm not angry at him anymore. He's just sad and pitiable. And like I said, just a really major lapse in cognitive ability there. Seriously, stringing these sentences together shows someone who is not on good speaking terms with reality. Quite frankly. Wow. Okay. When you do one thing, you'll notice that you will want to preach the word to the entire world and through your blog and your YouTube channel. You will go from the Angry Aussie to the Preaching Aussie. Doesn't that sound good? Does that not sound good? The Preaching Aussie. I could do that, but I would be the old school fire and brimstone preacher thundering from the pulpit about perdition and how everyone's going to be punished and the pain will be eternal. Wow. So I'm going to be preaching Aussie. That will be the power of the Holy Ghost flowing through your souls and taking to your soul and changing it for the better. You'll change because you will want to, because you will see the mercy, love, and awesomeness of Yahweh and his ability to maintain such complexity in social structure, control over his galaxy, and even universe if he were allowed to control the universe. You will find it irresistible to not become baptized follower of Yahweh. You will want to follow him, but he will never force you to follow him and serve him, because choice is more important to him than the salvation of all creation. I'm hoping for a reveal, because what he has repeatedly said in this letter is there are limitations on Yahweh's power. Yahweh is only the God of this galaxy. It's like he's just saying Yahweh's not allowed to be God of an entire universe. So if Yahweh's not allowed, then there's someone pulling the strings above Yahweh. I'm hoping there's a big reveal. I'm hoping we find out that, I don't know, it's Richard Simmons who actually controls the universe or something. But I'm hoping we get the reveal over who puts the limits on Yahweh's power. Anyway, we were made to worship Yahweh. That is our divine reason and purpose. God craves worship, and it is our responsibility to give him that worship. But Yahweh will never, out of love and mercy, force us to worship him. But since our purpose in life is to worship Yahweh and give him the devotion, adoration, glorification, and reverence he craves, he will punish us for not doing so. To him, it's like a father not wanting his kids to go without, but he may make them go without to teach them discipline, and punishing them for not getting that and using that discipline. He created us with a desire to worship, which has sadly been corrupted by Satan, my pal. Now, instead of wanting to worship Yahweh, we want to worship other gods we have invented, and we also now want to be worshipped by others. This is very disheartening for us and for Yahweh. Our divinely appointed purpose of existence is now corrupted by the opposer of Yahweh and his divine purposes. Yahweh only wants the best for his creation, so he's created us with that desire to worship him exclusively. Because we have to have pure and honest motives to worship him, we have to be pure in the way we live, in the way we speak. This is a guy who repeatedly calls me a fucking cunt. In the way we act and the way we treat ourselves and others, which makes us worthy to worship him in all greatness. This is why he wants us to worship him, so we can do what is right. That is why he has left his record with us, his scriptures, so we can live to worship him, so we can know the requirements to be able to worship him. I'm going to digress for a little bit here, because that paragraph to me is quite interestingly. God craves worship. Okay, this is, Oh, oh, sorry. I just got a really bad itch in my back. I know that's unattractive to have me suddenly scratch. Okay, this is interesting to me. So, like, when the question comes up, when people say to me, like, "Oh, you know, a believer? Are you a believer? Do you consider yourself atheist or agnostic?" Toby, no fucking way have my kids read the letter. I mean, they're old enough to handle it, but I don't want them to know that crazy people write me letters like this. But back to the point. So when people ask me, you know, oh, you know, are you a believer? Are you an atheist, agnostic? Do you believe in God? My main answer is it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter if I believe in a God or not. It doesn't matter if there is a creator. It does not matter. Every religion's invention of a God is a human invention. It is literally that. It's an invention. And it is always a flawed human invention. The one thing I can't get over is the cognitive dissonance that must happen when people will say God is perfect, but God must be worshipped and we will be punished if we do not worship God. What perfect being could possibly do that? That need to be worshipped, as VD puts it, we were made to worship God. God craves worship. That is weak and venal. That is human thinking. That is weak human thinking. And the concept that an all-powerful being could also be so shallow that his entire existence revolves around whether or not the talking monkeys are worshipping him, it makes no sense whatsoever. And in fact, if there was a supreme being, if there was a creator, they couldn't possibly respect such frankly stupid thinking. It's just illogical. It makes no sense whatsoever. So yeah, that paragraph sort of sums up my main thing about religion and existence of God or lack thereof. So when people say to me, I say it isn't relevant. It doesn't matter. It can't possibly matter. That all the religious justifications for why it does matter make no sense whatsoever. It's shallow human thinking about control and yeah, it just makes no sense at all. Ooh, okay. We're learning more about, yeah, and g'day there, anti-swagger. Another desire that Yahweh has given us is the desire to keep a record of our lives. This desire to keep a journal is fundamental to knowing our faults, being able to fix them, and to be able to show others that we're a species needing Yahweh. He doesn't expect us to write everything we do down and to keep a perfect record of what we do, but he does expect us to keep writing in our journals on regularly. I do occasionally just say his bad grammar out loud because I'm making fun of him. This is so we can see our faults in what we do, so we can examine ourselves, our motives, and to hopefully, through faith in Yahweh and loving devotional prayers to Yeshua, come to fix these faults that all humans have. This is why he's given us this loving provision, this desire to journal. This desire should be satisfied at least 4 days a week, if possible, sometime even more in weeks when a lot more important things happen, like baptism and confirmation, birth of children, death of loved ones, and construction of new churches and the formation of new congregations of followers of the restored gospel, and anything that is or could be a major blessing. So I ask that you please start a journal ASAP, so the blessing can start now. I'm keeping a journal. Okay, who remembers the movie Seven? It with Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey, serial killer who's staging these ritual murders, one for each of the 7 deadly sins. And when they find his apartment, the room's lined with books, like exercise books, that's written in text about this big, page after page after page after page of craziness. That is how I'm picturing VD, basically. Obsessively writing crazy, banal shit and eventually going on a killing spree. Yes. I was about to say, lucky he doesn't know where I live. He probably thinks I live in the post office box. I think that's about as far as his cognitive abilities go. If he sends letters to a post office box and I get them, I think he thinks I live in the post office box. So, that's something to look out for. Anyway, okay, so he's keeping a journal. I'm even keeping a copy of this letter to you as a record of what I've done. That's how important it is to keep a personal journal. It serves as a family history record, as a record of the history of our species and nations, and helps people by allowing them to see how you solve certain problems if you have. It may even help scientists to figure out how to solve problems in people with similar personality to you. Think about the blessings it will bring you and your family. I know you mightn't see the potential for a blessing, but it will bring you plenty. You will see those blessings if you keep that habit for at least 2 or more years. And if you keep studying the scripture for those 2 years, and also examining those scriptures, those journals you keep may one day be turned into a volume or become part of a volume of scriptures in the future for another restoration of the gospel. It could be used to show that even an atheist like you with ultra-liberal ideas can change. Or it may be used to help convert other people to the church so they can see that even people like you can change. Or you may write down the very thing that may show the obviousness need to convert. The journal could help others converting and receiving a lot of faith, and that will cause a lot of people, countless amount of people, to be saved because of you, the Angry Aussie. That will be a blessing to you and your family. Those blessings will come from such simple act as writing. Nephi did it, Joseph who was sold into Egypt did it, and there are others who've done it, and they have their rewards as part of different volumes of scripture. Think about it, and the need to journal will become obvious to you and those you teach and reason with. Well, you know, that's an interesting concept. I like the ideas of my videos being scripture in the future. That would be a messed up church. That's what I'm thinking. That would be a strange and troubling religion. I don't know why I brought that up. That would be terrible. What sort of people would that be? Okay. If you journal and examine them, it will become obvious that you need to convert. When you examine your journal, you will see the complexity in your life. You will realize this complexity cannot be achieved by simple accident and that a centralized group or deity will have to be controlling this complexity. Then it will become obvious that you need to follow the restored gospel. Because if our lives cannot function without that kind of centralized control, then our universe cannot. I know that the deceiver and opposer called Satan is behind your blindness to this. If you educate yourself to the facts of the universe, then you will no longer be a victim of the tricks of Satan. That is fact. He's got a very loose understanding of what a fact is. Study how the universe works. When you do that, you realize there needs to be a centralized force controlling it, and that centralized force needs to be massively intelligent to keep the operation going smoothly. You need to educate yourself about the deception of Satan so that it can be set free by the grace and mercy of Yahweh. You can do so by learning all you can about how the universe works. When you do, you'll realize how true, righteous, and holy Yahweh is, and how Yeshua is his son, an earthly incarnation. This is no lie, Angry. You can and need to do this, and you need that education, but do not get blinded by the deception that Satan has placed on these scientists. He has made them think they are gods. They are still just men. They are blind to the fact Yahweh's existence and right to rule over this galaxy. It's like, oh my God, keep taking the pills, dude. They're not working. Again, it's that mix-up of saying ridiculous, stupid crap and saying, see, that's a fact. And it's like, no, That's the opposite of a fact. And him having that line, that critical line saying scientists think they're gods. Well, A, no they don't. B, you're the one who said you're going to be a god, and this ridiculous things about being a god, but you're going to be critical of scientists who think they're god? It's like, dude, no. And study the universe. No study of the universe is, well, I admit there are a lot of scientists who are religious and they do see God's work, but it's like, there's no proof, there's no evidence, it's just how someone feels. And I don't mind when that's how someone feels. But saying things like proof and evidence when what you're saying is the opposite of truth and evidence, that's just kind of sad. Space Guy, he does sound pathetic. I don't know, is Celtic King still here? Would it be telling too many stories to tell us how old, even roughly, VD is? I don't think he's very old. This does not come across as someone who's very old. Hello, Penny. Oh my God, this just got really good. I just read the first sentence of the next paragraph. You also need to enter into a polygamist marriage so that you can produce more children to earth and to fill the commandment of Yahweh to enter into a polygamous marriage. Hello, ladies. You have to have sex with me because VD said you had to have sex with me. Okay, 28. Yeah, that makes sense, Celtic King. Let's look. Okay. To answer one question most people ask, assuming the thought crosses their minds, is this. What happens if everyone followed that commandment? There are not enough women to go around. So what about all the men that'll go without? This is what will happen to those men. The first generation or two will be given wives in the afterlife and be treated as though if they were obedient to all other commandments, they had entered into polygamy and will be given wives in the celestial kingdom. Polygamy is one of the requirements for men to enter into the celestial kingdom and to be able to populate their own galaxies. That's why it's so important to enter into a polygamist marriage so you can create enough offspring in the next life to populate an entire planet or galaxies bigger than Milky Way or even bigger. I know you do not realize the importance of this, but it will become obvious if you educate yourself on what the scriptures say and what science says about universal laws. Oh, see, this is a return to form. Page 2, he got me really genuinely angry because he said all those vicious, nasty, hateful, homophobic stuff, and, you know, equating it with bestiality and child sex, stuff that's really just contemptible and sick and wrong and gets people killed. And whereas now he's just sad and pitiable. Yeah, Bury, it's bullshit. There is no question. This is bullshit. This is a return to form, going from being just a fucking awful, hateful person that, you know, I was hoping would get colon cancer, through to just being really sad and pitiable and a laughingstock. Oh, so, ladies, you have to make the children with me. This is the weirdest thing. Just the blithely, no, women are a possession, women are a possession, women are a possession. Men get given women, either in this life or the next. Men get given women. It's like, no, women aren't individuals with autonomy. What are you talking about? It's like, no, they're possessions to be given to men. It's just the blithely saying that and not even twigging about what a stupid and offensive thing that is to say. It's really mind-blowing. But anyway, so, you know, Ladies, we've got to populate an entire galaxy. We've got to get started, okay? Yes, Adele, I'm glad you used up all your angry energy today. You don't want this to upset you. You just want to laugh at it. Okay. So on top of me having lots of sex with lots of ladies, temples are also important. Since there is no central church structure, there are very few temples we can enter to do ordinances like baptism for the dead, the sealing of the ordinances, and the other things we need to do to enter the celestial kingdom. Oh yeah, the baptism of the dead. That's a thing Mormons do. And it's honestly as creepy as fuck. They'll do baptisms on the graves of people from other religions, saying that's now saved them in the afterlife and made them Mormons. I find that really creepy and offensive. Anyway, so Yahweh has made provisions for that. Any rented building can be turned into a temple or used as a temporary temple, a temple, for those purposes. When and where possible, each congregation or crundles. That's a good work. Who wants to be a crundle? Come and join a crundle. That's the Mormon denomination that everyone... Sorry, a crundle is a group of congregations that follow the restored gospel and are using the same building. So I honestly... oh, Toby, you're actually going to send me those as well? I'm probably not going to be able to read them. The doctrines and the covenants and they'll just find them boring. Like I tried to read, and I really appreciate them holding it upside down. I really appreciate being sent the Quran and the Jehovah's Witnesses scriptures, but I just found them too boring to read much of. I might make another effort, because I feel like it's a bit more education for me, but you know. So temples and crundles. Crundles. That sounds like a grunge band from the 90s. Crundles. Okay, so crundles should have a temple structure that they can use as a full-time temple. Unlike the LDS Church, the Mormon denomination that everyone knows of, that only allow worthy members in, temples are restricted for worthy members. In truth, only worthy members can participate in the rituals and ordinances of the temples. Anyone, member or not, can visit and even watch these ordinances and rituals being performed by members of the congregation and crundles, which is my new favourite word, crundles. That's the beauty of it all. Yahweh doesn't keep secrets. All these laws and ordinances that everyone has to obey are laid out in the scriptures. He doesn't want people to be turned away from his true gospel by secrets. No one's keeping a secret about the church. Now he's going to sort us out. Some misconceptions are rampant. Section 89 of the Doctrines and Covenants, sometimes referred to as the Word of Wisdom by the LDS, doesn't forbid beer. It forbids wine and strong drink, tobacco and hot drinks, which can include any caffeinated drinks, like soft drinks, iced coffee, tea and other caffeinated drinks. It doesn't forbid beer. Section 89 says, and this is copied and pasted here. Well, I'm drinking caffeine, and then I'm going to drink hard alcohol. So I don't even like beer. I don't know if you think you're appealing to me by saying I'm allowed to drink beer, but I don't like beer. I'll drink cider. That's apples. I should be able to drink that. That's the thing. Yeah, exactly, Adele. Coffee cake. Okay, so this is the bit that VD says proves Mormons are allowed to drink beer. Revelation given through Joseph Smith the prophet at Kirtland, Ohio, February 27th, 1833. As a consequence of the earthly brethren using tobacco in their meetings, the prophet was led to ponder upon the matter. Consequently, he inquired of the Lord concerning it. This revelation, known as the Word of Wisdom, was the result. The use of wine, strong drinks, tobacco, and hot drinks is prescribed. Herbs, fruit, flesh, and grain are ordained for the use of man and animals. Obedience to gospel law, including the word of wisdom, brings temporal and spiritual blessing. A word of wisdom for the benefit of the council of high priests assembled in Kirtland, and also the church and the saints in Zion. To be sent greeting, not by commandment or constraint, but by revelation and the word of wisdom, showing forth the order and will of God in the temporal salvation of all the saints. Oh, Christ, that's just boring. So, I just had the thought in my head. You ever seen the bit with in horror movies where the kids find the creepy book in the cellar and read from the page, and it's the summoning spell? I got worried that's what I was doing for a moment. If I read that out loud, I was going to be haunted by Joseph Smith. And he would just be such a boring ghost because he's not trying to scare you or threaten you stuff. He's just a con artist and would just be trying to scam you out of money. He's like, ooh, give me all your money and I'll give you a revelation. Go away, Joseph Smith. You're a fucking con man. No, I'm not. Give me your money and I'll make you a god. You're an idiot, Joseph Smith. Go away. Okay, so there's blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so as you can read, D&C does not forbid beer. The LDS are mostly to blame for attempting to hide a lot of their history, which is proof that they are a fallen sect of the Restoration that Joseph Smith started back in the 1800s. Beer fell out of favour with most of the Mormon denominations during Prohibition in the USA during the 1920s. That's probably true. Most members of the LDS Church think that no members of their branch of Mormonism ever drank any alcohol because of the church's history hiding and the American Prohibition. But it's still okay to drink beer according to the scriptures. There's no ban on beer. If there were, Yahweh would have already put a clear, uninterpretive commandments in the scriptures to not drink any beer. This just shows that the structure of the early Mormon church was only there to get restored gospel to word. Look, okay, he says I can drink beer because it doesn't specifically say I can't. I'm also sure it says don't get sodomized by a donkey while injecting heroin into your cock. By his reasoning, it's perfectly sanctioned by the Mormon church to be fucked up the ass by a donkey while shooting heroin into your cock. Logic is not strong with this lad, is it? By the way, that is actually in the Angry Scriptures. When I start the Angry Church and I'll be preaching, I'm not going to be too judgy, but I am going to say being sodomized by a donkey while shooting heroin into your cock is a bad idea. Not a good idea. Okay? You know, if it's your thing and the donkey's into it, then I guess you can, but I'm just saying not a great idea. You know, make your own judgments, but not a great idea. Okay, so, and we are actually almost at the ending now. The early Mormon church was only set up to send missionaries out into the world and to set up a printery and a translation department so scriptures could be printed. And also, when they came to be, all additional scriptures could be printed. Church was to end all other operations except the printing and translation work when there were a certain number of members in a certain number of countries. Each country was to get a printery, which would have been partially funded by tithes by Mormons, but a central structure run by men to keep revealing additional revelations were not to be established. Yahweh knew it would be corrupted if that structure stayed in place for long enough. And it has. Look at all the splinter groups. Look at the LDS denomination hiding its history from even some of their hierarchy and the ever-changing doctrines. Black people should still have a curse on them, but the LDS Church has claimed that the curse has been lifted. It fucking hasn't. That is an LDS lie. This letter has the first true thing he said. This letter has gone on for long enough. So I will end it here with please do as I've told you. It will bless you. Yours sincerely, fucked in the head video dude. Wasn't that ending just out of the blue after all the other ridiculousness and fuckery to just throw in, by the way, fuck black people. It was just like, dude, really? It was just like, the stupid homophobia, the bits where he didn't even know he was being sexist blow my mind. The bit where he's just going like, women are a possession. Men will either get this possession in this life or the next because women are just the possession. Yeah, that's stunning that he doesn't even know what an obnoxious sexist git he is. But then to just throw in right at the end, by the way, fuck black people. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? I mean, I know I'm laughing at him because it is funny, but it's also sad. It's like, okay, he's not even going to be the worst, is he? There are going to be people who are worse than him. Oh, I know why suddenly yawning. But it was just like, what is that? Oh God, Penny, transphobia. Jesus. Yeah, no, I don't think he's even got onto that. Safa, do you think he was on drugs? Do I think he was on drugs? That would have been an excuse. Joe Will, that's it. You've actually covered all the bases. To really get in these bad books, yes, you got to jack off to porn of black people while pissed on spirits and taking it up the bum. Yeah. Oh God, Celtic King, now we're just getting depressing. He had swastikas as well. Not surprising at all. Wow. Every now and then, I just really fucking despair for humanity. And it's like, you know, most people, I feel like most people are trying to lead a good life. Most people are trying to make things better. As naive as it sounds, I actually tend to default to assuming people are basically okay. This just brings home, and I think this is, no matter what your views are, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, the spiritual spectrum, I think if you are honest, probably at least 20% of the population, at least, are irredeemable scum, and you can't imagine the world being worse off if they were just wiped out, if they just ceased to exist. And it's going to be a different 20% for different people. But I think if you don't think that, you're just not being honest. It's like not a small number of people. I reckon it's between 20 and 30% of the population who are just fucked. And I'm not saying I will kill people. I don't think that's appropriate. And, you know, it's okay. Cut to King. VD's just an outright cunt. Oh, yeah, no, I think you're onto that. He's using this religion, these religious ideas that he's bastardizing as a prop. Here's an excuse for me being the piece of shit I am. Look, it's in this book. And you know, it's like all the religious people. No, I want to kill people and blow people up and subjugate women. I'm convinced this book tells me I'm right to do it. It's just, he's like a textbook case of someone using religion as an excuse for just being fucking awful. Yeah, Peter was like, well, that's a real thing. It was an official part of Mormon doctrine that black people are cursed and that's why they're black. That's a curse placed on them. It was relatively recently that the Mormon church said, oh, no, we can't really keep perpetuating that, can we? No, we retract that. That's not real. We're not saying black people are cursed. VD says, yes, they are. Oh, what a sad little boy. This is the thing. I always think, and people like this. Oh, Kupiora, you know a Mormon who denies it was a thing. It's just, and again, that's one of the things that really trouble me. People who deny something that's documented and try to say that was never a thing. Whether it's Mormons saying, no, it was never a Mormon doctrine that black people were cursed, when it's truly easy to see that was their doctrine. Or, you know, a Trump supporter saying he didn't say that. It's like, what? It's recorded. There he is saying it. Well, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Holocaust deniers, Luke. It's just people who deny a documented thing. And I was like, well, what do I even do? What do I do with you? And it's like on YouTube or social media generally, I don't waste any time at all on fuckwits. Like I get some asshole MRA or white supremacist, any of that type doing a shithead comment on my videos. I don't waste time engaging them or trying to make them see reason, because they're a waste of my time. And they're oxygen thieves, as we keep saying. And it's just like, no, fuck off, block, just get out of my life. Oh, excuse me. That's the Pepsi coming back at me. What was that? Ooh. Biori saying someone was into gay romance, came out as a furry, liking BDSM and being trans. You think he changed his mind? Who? I missed something. Oh, a Mormon. That was a Mormon. Oh, Space Guy. This is a huge number of people who deny the Holocaust. They go from people who deny it happened at all, that, you know, it's just a Jewish conspiracy to make us feel bad for them, through to, oh yeah, Hitler was trying to get rid of Jews, but he didn't kill millions of Jews. You know, the numbers are exaggerated. Bury, that does sum it up. Why are people Holocaust deniers? Because people are assholes. I mean, I think for me, like the lowest point in recent history of that sort of thing was the people who denied that school shooting of the little kids, Sandy Hook in the States, who denied that happened. That was the government false flag operation to take our guns. They were crisis actors. And they harassed and continue to harass the parents of children who were murdered in that shooting. And those are people that I think should be put to death. It's like, could you imagine your child being killed at school is like one of the worst things that could ever happen to you. The idea that you just sent them off to school and they were killed. And then living through one of the worst things a parent could live through, these fucking psychopaths harass you and abuse you and threaten you and say you're lying. I would full on, if I was in that situation, I would full on hire a fucking hitman to kill them. Yep, because that person has ceased to have any right to exist. I just don't fucking care. Someone who would do that is just unimaginably sick and evil. And yeah, I think if I was one of those parents, I'd fucking hire a hitman and kill him. It's just like... Connor, no, Australia has not had any mass shootings since Port Arthur. There's been individual incidents of people being shot. People still get shot from time to time. So usually, criminals shooting other criminals. The most common thing with shootings in Australia is criminals shooting other criminals, or family murders, like domestic murders. That's the huge majority of shootings in Australia. Yeah, I think in the modern world, Sandy Hook deniers are the worst of the worst. Oh, Space Goy, Westboro Baptist Church. Yeah, famous assholes. There's a story going around it, and I don't know if anyone's ever verified it, but the story was basically that the Westboro Baptist Church was a scam because a bunch of them were lawyers and who specialised in civil rights litigation. And they do those hideous protests in the hope that a government entity will stop them so they can launch massive lawsuits to say, oh, you just impeded our rights. Although I don't think that's ever happened. So I don't know if it's true. I've read it from more than one source that people think that the whole Westboro Baptist Church protest thing is actually just a scam to try and get people to stop them so they'll then sue them. God, speaking of how they've avoided being shot dead, I don't know, with the amount of fairly extreme people in the US and people with guns, and the fact that the Westboro Baptist Church pickets soldiers' funerals with their offensiveness, I'm really stunned they haven't all just been shot. Not advocating shooting them, but because they're just annoying and stupid. But I'm really, really surprised no one's shot them up. Considering who they target, it's more than mildly surprising that they haven't ended up being shot. There's yes, they're playing a very dangerous game, they are, and I can't help but think it will come back and bite them one day. Yeah, oh my God, now we're just going to get depressing and say, who are the most awful people in thing? No, are you saying, Penny, they take their children as human shields? I'm talking about military guys, snipers. They don't hit innocent targets, or not doing it at one of their protests because that's too public, but actually going to stalk their compound and just fucking shooting people. I'm amazed that hasn't happened to them, considering all the people who have been victims of shootings, and these guys go around asking for it. Ooh, kitchen renos. That's a fun, bright thing to be talking about, Megaleech, I suppose. Spike the Kool-Aid, we could do that. Do a Jim Jones on the Model. Guns. Well, see, Space Goy, at the thing with guns, I'm a real hypocrite because I'm very much in favour of Australia's gun restrictions and think they should be more stringent. But guns are super fun to shoot. I grew up in the country, used to go target shooting. I didn't like shooting live things. But guns are super fun to shoot. But I am still in favour of really quite severe restrictions on their ownership, because too many guns with too many people just results in too many unnecessary shootings. Peoria, there is that too. I get most of it out of my system playing video games, guns being super fun to shoot. So that's the most common sort of video game I play, shooters. Oh yeah, Joe, people should absolutely be taught to respect firearms. Should we change the subject? Probably. Oh, Adele, do you do archery, like real world archery? That's pretty cool. So I was channel hopping tonight. I flicked through, watched a bit of Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, the Battle of Helm's Deep specifically. How's my Simpsons sim game? It's going really well. CSGO, that's Counter-Strike, is it? I don't play it at all. Yes, no, I do. On my phone, I'm building my own little Springfield, Simpsons Tapped Out, which I don't think I've missed a day of for years. Yes, I watched Game of Thrones. It's like, wow, for everyone who'd been complaining for seasons that the dragons were just a tease and why weren't they doing anything. Wow, the money shot really came this week. I don't play Halo. I did buy Doom for the PlayStation 64 because it was on sale, and I haven't even unwrapped it yet. Because I don't know if you'll die, Aussie Brick Chick, but that episode was very good at making me think central characters were in danger and could die. And that goes for Jamie, Bronn, the Dragon Queen herself and her dragon. At various times, I thought they were shaping up, oh no, they could actually die. They actually seem to be in real danger. And that big climactic thing with Jamie deciding to do a lance charge on a dragon because he thinks it's close to dying, and Tyrion from his vantage point is going, he's literally saying, you fucking idiot, don't do it, don't do it, you fucking idiot. Because even though Tyrion's on the opposite side, he loves Jamie, that's his brother. And he's just going, you can't do a lance charge on a dragon. You will die. Oh, Jake, I don't take videos down, so I'm going to say yes. If I put the video up, it's still up. Yes, some Dungeons and Dragons talk there on Jamie Lannister. I was like, okay, Jamie, how will you handle the situation? Roll for intelligence. Ooh, critical fail. Yes, you pick up your lance and charge the dragon. Jake, I'm going to be honest and say I don't specifically remember. But if you find it, you should send me a message. Either comment on the video itself and I'll get a message, or send me a message on Twitter or something so I can relook at it. Because, I mean, A, I'm old and senile, but B, I have done literally thousands of videos. So it's not uncommon for when people say, do you remember this video? The answer is, not specifically. Peter, you thought he was charging Daenerys. So I think he was charging the dragon. You don't charge Daenerys with the dragon right there, because you will definitely die. If she was the target, he would definitely die, unless he thought it was yeah, maybe, I don't know. Okay, so it was that long ago. Yeah, well, that's the other thing, Jake. I've been doing the videos for over 11 years. So Aussie Brickchick, you're saying you should share my number of videos. Well, see, I've done stuff over multiple channels. My main channel's over 2,000 videos, and there are hundreds on other channels. So I don't even know. And then you could count live streams as well. Back in the day, doing live streams on Blog TV. So it's a lot of videos. Saying holy cafeterias. Well, yeah, it's over 11 years, and I do make lots of videos. So the you know, 2,000 over 11 years. Yeah, that's less than 200 a year. And there are some years where I've made a lot more than that. You know, there are some months where I've made 30 or 40 in a month. Hello, Nathan. How are you? Joining us at this late stage. I don't even know how much longer I will be here. Yes. So yes, the unfortunate thing is when people mention a really old video, do you remember that? There is a reasonably high chance that I don't. What you're saying about that old one about the prank call is kind of tickling a memory, but I've actually made thing. Aussie Bricks, you felt cheated by Jamie not getting barbecued. Well, you know, he did fall into a river with full armor on, so he may not be MJ Aussie. Well, yeah, I am streaming, but you know, if you ever really want to, you can go back and watch it because it'll be on my YouTube channel. And I did read another page and a half of the thoroughly crazy religious nut letter, and there were some really good bits in it. Will masks return? Probably from time to time. AZ Code Grey! Oh my god! That's actually 80. Busily going to hell with my man lover. Oh wow, that's a surprise. Fancy that, kids. Special guest appearances. Wasn't expecting that at all. Well, we were having a conversation the other day. You just watched page 2. Yeah, it's special, wasn't it? Where I told AZ that the letter said that I was responsible for his fall into his sinful homosexual lifestyle. And yep, that's right. None of that ever happened before I met you, apart from all those dicks in my teenage years. And so I figured like that was probably accidental. Like AZ was just happened to stumble through an orgy and slipped and fell on a dick. You know, that can happen. That can happen. That didn't have to be a conscious choice on AZ's part to have sex with as many people as possible, regardless of their genders. It could have been accidental. Look, if you're just walking around and there's dicks, you could slip and fall on a dick. Oh, Luke, I'm convinced AIDS is a prophet. Well, you know, he's died and comes back several times. He knows what's on the other side, you know. AIDS might have. That, look, AIDS again, when I say you fall on a dick, you know, your mouth was open in shock. That's what I think happened. That is what I think happened. You walked into a room with all these naked gyrating people, and being a good Christian boy, you covered your eyes, but then you tripped because you couldn't see where you were going, and your mouth was open in shock, and you just landed on a cock. And that whole head bobbing thing, you weren't sucking the dick, you were just trying to get up and you kept slipping because the whole place was slippery, probably with human bodily fluids, and you just slipped repeatedly, like for a long time. But that could happen. It is, you're right, Space Koi, it's awkward. It's awkward when that happens, but you know, accidents happen. You just keep slipping, repeatedly, you know, in a rhythmic fashion even. You know, it happens. These things can happen. Exactly, Michael. See, you don't necessarily... Am I going to call VD? No. Maybe. Maybe. I would... Easy. There was a little bit of cock, maybe a lot of cock before we met. But what are you going to do? In your case, I actually know what you're going to do, and what you did do, and all those things. So, okay, Space Boy, I will probably call VD if I have AngryAussie with me. Because yes, oh, in case that wasn't on page 2, AngryAussie, in case I didn't tell you, VD did actually give us his phone number and wants us to call him. So, probably when I can catch up with AngryAussie, we will call him. Yeah, that's what we should be doing, AngryAussie. At some point we should get together and call VD. And be nice to him. Give him more than he bargained for. MJ, you just walked in while I was talking about slipping on dicks. This is a thing that happens. Sometimes you just walk in on conversations about slipping on dicks. Or Connor, VD. You've missed out. You should go back and watch this live stream or some of the other ones. A guy who had the username Video Dude got very upset when I blocked him and wrote a long and extremely crazy letter. And it's all kinds of special, and it just shortened his handle to VD for the obvious reason. And among other ill-advised things he wrote in the letter, he wrote his phone number and wants me and AngryAussie to call him. On an unrelated note, I just felt something out. I thought I chipped a tooth tonight because I bit a fork. Ha, 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 ha. AngryAussie, I suppose we could really upset him by pointing out your man lover is also half your age, so you're cradle snatching. Nathan, that's exactly what I told him. It's because he was being boring. If he didn't stop being boring, I was going to block him, and he wouldn't stop. So sign him up to some ads. Okay, you're evil, Space Guy. I think he's got me on a mailing list for some Christian groups because I got so much stuff. So yes, I have all this reading material now, except it's really boring to read. I really tried. These ones still fascinate me. I read some bits of Questions Young People Ask, volumes 1 and 2. I think when I was a Catholic high school kid, I would have actually really liked these books. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I was definitely a believer. I mean, I was indoctrinated into it. But going through school, I was definitely a believer. And, you know, I liked thought-provoking Christian stuff, reading and whatnot. Can I ask a question that a young person asks? Yes. I mean, like, here's a good one. Should I quit school? You know, what does God say about quitting school? Did you know youths who skip classes are more likely to end up dropping out of school? Maybe more likely. I used to skip school heaps, but I finished school and uni. So, what's wrong with quitting? Quitting school's like jumping off a train before you reach your destination. The train may be uncomfortable. The passengers may be unfriendly. AngryAussie may have fondled you in the toilets. You should jump off. If that happens, you should jump off the train because AngryAussie's not going to leave you alone. Oh, look, here's the thing. If you jump off the train, you will not reach your destination. That is the real AngryAussie. Actually, AngryAussie Codes Grey, that's his YouTube channel. So he's signed in through his YouTube channel. So that is the real AngryAussie. If you jump off the train, that's the big questions AngryAussie's asking. That should be in the book. If I was accidentally involved in a double adapter floor show at a party, what would Jesus do? Those are the big questions. I'm not sure that's in there. It does have some questions about sex. I'm not sure it gets that specific. But that's a question that's worth asking that, needs answering. It's one of AngryAussie's other big questions. If I accidentally made a porno, what's going to happen? Oh my God, it still blows my mind that you accidentally did a porno. Oh dear. So, and of course we have joked about this. I mean, and we said this in another video when we talked about it. It's like, look, the internet's a big, wild and crazy place. If you ever, happen across AngryAussie's porno, send us a copy. Angry, previous live stream, talked about Mr. Safety. You were hitting him in one of the videos. Yes, that video was called How to Piss Off an Australian. It's a very short video. I think it's like less than 30 seconds. It's a very fun video. I mean, sure, I was happy Pierre, but the couple got back together after me, so was there really any harm done? See that? Maybe you brought them closer together, AngryAussie. Maybe they felt like they were drifting apart and the live sex show at a party was a desperate attempt to rekindle some feelings in their life. And you did that. You brought them together. Like, literally, there was a whole joining thing going on. So there was an actual literal connection happening. But then afterwards, there was an emotional connection came back. You should call AngryAussie Happy Pierre. Definitely. Asking the internet for illegal stuff. Oh my God. It's just like, no, I remember in the early days of the internet, the 90s, with friends, and probably people still do this, they do it with video now, but it was dial-up. We couldn't do it with video, we'd do it with pictures. It was basically trying to find something grosser than the other guy could, and you'd send it and go, okay, here's the new topper, you've got to beat this. And you play that for a while and it's all shits and giggles, and sometimes literally shits in the photos. It gets to a certain point and you go, this is a game that nobody wins, because the two of you are just finding the worst, and every time you think you've found the worst thing that you'll find on the internet, you find something worse. And it's just like, okay, nobody wins when this happens. We need to stop because this is just awful. I mean, one of the early extreme see, one of my favorite Flickr streams back when Flickr was a happening thing was called First Goatsy. And it was just reaction photos of people being shown Goatsy for the first time. For those who've never heard Goatsy, it's an early shock image on the internet of a guy gaping his own arsehole to a really quite frightening degree. Like, it's opened up really huge. It's really quite terrifying. But yeah, there was this Flickr stream called First Goatsy, just people being shown it for the first time. You want to see AngryAussie's naked body, all you have to do is go and the AngryAussie Code Grey channel. Black salami. I love people who trick people into seeing Lemon Party. They do something about, you know, lemons and whatnot and how to have them for party. If you want more tips for your next party, just search Lemon Party. And it's like, okay. We were talking about when I had the Angry phone and prank calls and recording things. Some guys called me once. I don't even remember if I recorded it, but they were basically trying to get me to look at gross out sites. And some of them, the names were too obvious. You knew what it was going to be. So they'd say, oh, look up this, and I'd go, okay. And I was like, whoa, okay. And some of them just made me laugh. Like, I don't know if it's still live, but there was one called Meat Spin, and all it was this dude doing like a nude dude doing this hip sway thing, spinning, so his dick's spinning around, hence meat spin, but it had a counter, so each spin would be like 1, 2, 3, and it was like, how long can you keep looking at it? How long can you keep looking at it? And you'll get a counter. And I was laughing hysterically. Oh, glad you dropped by, Aussie Brick Chick. I'm going to be going soon too, because I also have work soon. And yeah, this guy showed me Meat Spin. I was just laughing hysterically. I don't even remember how long I watched it. Oh, okay, I didn't know that, Connor. If you reach 40 spins, it goes away and says you go. I did not reach 40 spins. Yes, AZ, Tub Girl, that was another gross one. But what are the early gross ones I always remember by the term concerned ponder. Because back in the day of news groups, aka Usenet online, text-only discussion, you could put images on Usenet. There were a lot of porn Usenet groups, but there were a lot were discussion, text-based discussion ones. And there was one that was, yes, Joe, I do need to get AZ on a live stream. That would be fun. There was one Usenet group that was about people who made recreational ponds, like people who built ponds and shared tips on how to build a pond and how to do things. And apparently someone had put porn in one of the threads on the group, and someone in response had done this thread where the heading was concerned ponder. Where this guy said, oh, I note with concern that someone posted something inappropriate. We need to do something to stop this. Blah, 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 blah. And of course, the first response was a truly horrific image. In fact, it was an image that my friends and I came to know as Eat Shit and Die, or ESAD, we would call it. And it was a very close-up shot, a woman lying back with her mouth open, and someone, I don't even remember if the butt was definitely male or female, dropping a shit right in her mouth. And this person dropping the shit ate a lot of fiber, is all I can say. You found the video, Jake. Excellent. What's it called? Need to share with the group. So yes, that was one of the early shock images I saw. It was never that widespread. Kid in a sandbox. I remember, okay, 2 Girls, 1 Cup. I've got two Girls, 1 Cup react videos. One is actually Mr. Safety, Corey. He was at my house when that was a thing. So I got him to watch 2 Girls, 1 Cup and videoed his reaction, which is pretty good. But another one is a friend of mine and AZ's in a Dalek costume, watching it as a Dalek, and a Dalek reacting to 2 Girls, 1 Cup. That's also quite good. So I don't think I ever watched, I mean, I've watched enough of 2 Girls, 1 Cup. I just thought, yep, that's cool. I don't need to watch anymore. That's fine. I know what it is now. There was another one that came out. Oh yeah. Oh, MJ Aussie, Corey's still around. He has like a vlogging channel now with his new wife and kid, and their life in Alaska, and now they're moving somewhere in the Midwest. But he's actually done a Kickstarter, like a crowdfunding thing for a Mean Kitty book. And I think he hit his goal, and is going to have like an illustrated kids book coming up. Tubevember update, YouTube live in SF and Oz gatherings about 4 seconds. Oh, there you go. Okay, so try and send me a note on Twitter or something. Oh, cuddle sticks. Sorry, yeah, Nick, who's sometimes on this live stream, sent me cuddle sticks to remind me. That's it, Megaleech, the big mean kitty. So I really hope that that's really successful for him, because that would be really cool. Yes, Corey does heaps cool content. Very interesting to work with him because he's super exacting. He's giving me a stern, unapproving look. Oh dear, oh dear. Corey's very interesting to work with because he's very exacting. Like obsessively so. It's like his ADD goes into another mode and he gets hyper focused, and he will spend hours on the minutest detail in a video. Is such a perfectionist. I'm so fucking lazy in comparison. But yeah, he's does great content. He's great to work with, but he's just an amazingly focused perfectionist when it comes to it. Okay, I think they've finished watching Battlestar Galactica next door. That must mean it's bedtime for all good boys and girls, and also for the bad boys and girls. You know, I'll just send you off with that. As in, like, that's gas from my Pepsi. Oh, and I can still taste my dinner when I do that too. Like these rigatoni and meatballs that I mentioned earlier had more garlic than I thought was in it. Tastes good. Tubevember. Okay, Jake, I'm going to try and remember to look up my Tubevember. Love you, AZ. Bye. Good night, everyone. You know, don't forget to do a thumbs up before you leave. Trick the Google algorithm into thinking everyone loves me. Penny, thank you for watching. Yeah, we probably will call him. Good night, everyone, and bye. And I'll see you again soon, and hopefully soon see you with AZ. And bye now.